morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Alors, this will be the update and the general introduction of both speakers. You will see in a moment, those two matters are closely related. So, as you know, one of the main purposes of our association is also promoting retirees' financial security, health, and well-being. Alors, un des objectifs importants de notre association est aussi de promouvoir la sécurité financière, la santé et le bien-être des retraités. And the overarching goal of the Ottawa Membership and Service Committee is to leverage the bargaining power of our branch membership, identified products and services that are of value to members at prices that far below what individual members could expect to find on their own. And however, as Christine mentioned, there's a big disclaimer that is also reproduced in your material, written large on each page of the Informat program, and that applies to each participant to the Ottawa branch membership discount program. And that disclaimer, it's important to repeat it, is that the branch does not endorse, by admitting somebody in the discount membership program, does not endorse the product or the service that it's offered. The branch the purpose is to bring to the attention of our individual members to that product and services to their attention so that they can make up their own mind. Alors en français, la mise en garde qui s'applique à tous ceux qui participent à notre programme qui sont inclus dans notre programme d'escompte pour les membres est à l'effet que nous, la section d'Ottawa, n'endosse pas ces produits-là, ne fait pas la promotion de ces produits-là. Elle les amène à votre attention de façon à ce que vous puissiez vous-même les évaluer et décider si ces produits-là sont des produits et services que vous voulez, auxquels vous voulez adhérer. So a year ago, at this podium, I mentioned at this meeting that Michael Fine and Michael has been the past president of the Membership and Service Committee, and Michael, would you please stand up in order that people identified you? So, Michael and I initiated this search for a financial advisory service, and we were continuing to look for the financial advisory service provider who could meet our exacting standards and potentially become members of the Ottawa branch member discount program. And I wrote in a report to you members on May 2nd, 2017, exactly what we were doing. And I quote from that report, "With our value for money goal in mind, Michael Fine and I have been exploring since February 2016 ways to obtain financial advisory and investment services for our members at the best competitive rate. So we are looking to increase the competition level for your benefit." In our search, we were influenced by, I'll tell you the long influence by Warren Buffett, who a few years ago in his annual letters to Berkshire Hathaway shareholders was indicating that the long-term result from primarily investing in a very low-cost ETF, and he was referring to his mostly the American, his American shareholders, the low-cost Standard & Poor's 500 index fund will be superior to those achieved by most investors who rely on high-fee managers to select individual stocks. And in his letter, Buffett recommended the Vanguard Group. And Michael and I quickly found that Vanguard does indeed offer the most competitive advisory fee structure in the industry, but that's in the United States. Unfortunately, Vanguard's offering in Canada are far less developed than they are in the United States. In the States, Vanguard offers a direct retail individual advisory service at a regressive annual fee of 30 points. 30 points, that's less than 1/3 of 1%. That's the fee they charge to their client to provide individual advisory service, and they do this under a fiduciary duty. And the fiduciary duty, which is Now, since June 2016, it's a legal requirement for retirees' investment account known as 401k in the United States. That's the equivalent of the RSP or your RIF investment account in Canada. The fiduciary duty is the highest standard of care. The fiduciary is obligated to provide investment advice in the best interest of the client and place their own interests secondary. So, client best interest is the standard of care for advice and service provided, for example, by other professionals in Canada, such as doctors, lawyers, or chartered accountant. So we ask in Canada, why not about financial advisor for retirees? So while we cannot benefit from Vanguard's U.S. services, what I've just described became the benchmark against which we have evaluated financial advisory service available in Canada. So over the past year, Michael and I have met numerous providers of financial services in Canada, that is in Ottawa, Montreal, and Toronto. And in Canada, as I just said, financial advisors are held to a lower standard of care known as suitability, which means investment recommendation must fit a client's goals or risk tolerance. The Canadian investment advisory and financial industry is not immune, in our view, from the competition coming from the south of the border. And at the time of writing the report in May 2017, we indicated that we had identified some prospective financial and investment service provider offering services, products, more closely competing with our benchmark. They don't meet the benchmark I referred to, but they're more competing with this benchmark. So the update that I'm providing you today is stay tuned, because we're not ready there. The matter are very close for an announcement for our members at the Ottawa branch, but we're not quite ready today. And there are 4 components as the financial advisory service we're looking at. And these are the reputation and strength of the financial institution, the range of financial products, the fee structure, of course, and lastly, the level of individual advisory service. And in Canada, as I mentioned before, it does not appear that any financial institution is ready to follow the American lead and to offer the retirees investment advice in the client's best interest. And our first speaker, Mr. Grant Vingo, will address that issue among others and explain to you why. Now, back to the update. The devil is in the details, and that's what it takes time. So that's where we are at the moment with the financial advisory service that we prospectively may announce shortly. Stay tuned. And meanwhile, I will, with great pleasure, introduce our first speaker, Mr. Grant Vingo, who is the Vice Chair of the Ontario Security Commission. Now, Grant has extensive experience as a leader on Canada-US cross-border securities initiative and a background in corporate governance and regulatory policy. He has been a partner with an international law firm in Toronto and New York, where he specializes in the regulation of financial institutions and capital market transactions. Alors, Grant possède une très grande, vaste expérience en tant que dirigeant d'initiatives transfrontalières en matière de valeurs mobilières et une expertise en gouvernance d'entreprise et en politique de réglementation. Il a occupé un poste d'associé au sein d'un grand cabinet d'avocats qui est un cabinet d'avocats international établi à Toronto et à New York, et où il est spécialisé, il s'est spécialisé dans la réglementation des institutions financières et des opérations sur les marchés financiers. Grant is a former independent director of the Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada, known as IROC, and he was chair of the IROC Corporate Governance Committee. So he was previously, among other things, counsel with market policy at the Toronto Stock Exchange, and he has served on the Ontario Security Commission Securities Advisory Committee. Grant is a graduate of University of Toronto and Osgoode Hall Law School, and also at yes, at York University, Osgoode, and he received a Master in Law from the New York University School of Law. Alors, Grant va donner sa présentation en anglais, mais en fin de présentation, je serai heureux d'aider les membres qui aimeraient poser leurs questions en français à Grant à la fin de sa présentation. So Grant will be given his presentation in English, but I will be very happy to assist any member who would like to ask their question in French, and so that everyone can hear the question in either language. And please be sure to use, when the time will come, one of the two microphones located on the aisle or to raise your hand, and a volunteer will bring a microphone to you. Thank you. Please join me to welcome Grant.